It's good to see you. It's good to be in the Justice Coalition office. At First Armenian Press, we want to be a part of what God's doing. And it's a great tradition, a great conviction of the church to give a particular portion of our annual budget to missions. So right off the top, 10% of it goes to both international missions, Armenian missions, but also local. We love Fresno, we love the Valley, and so we want to make sure that we're partnering with the Lord on what He's doing. And so we are really excited. It's been maybe a couple of months that we've been partnering with Justice Coalition because human trafficking is such a big issue. And we can't just pretend it's someplace else and it has nothing to do with us. It does have something to do with us. This is our community, this is our town. And so thank you for letting us partner with you. How did the organization start? How did you become involved?
Right. So I became involved. I was working on staff at a local church here in Fresno, North Park Community Church, and I was there for nearly 9 years. I started to feel like God was putting it on my heart to do something different. I was very fortunate to be working in the church on a lot of different justice issues. I felt like God maybe had something else for me to do. And so then through some circumstances, the Justice Coalition existed as a ministry of Fresno First Baptist at that time. My wife, Rebecca, was especially involved with Jessica Pittman, who founded the Justice Coalition. And so I was around and helping, volunteering and advising and things. But my colleague sent out an email that said, we're thinking about looking for someone to be a full-time executive director. Do you know anybody? And so I, of course, emailed back and I said, well, what about me? So I recommended myself. And so I hit the ground running at the tail end of 2015. I formed a board and became a 501c3. So it became a standalone organization. And then we've been growing at a rate of 20, 25, 30% each year since then. We now are in a stage where we have 3 full-time employees, including myself, and 3 part-time people. And so God has been faithful to help us grow our team and impact the Central Valley. But as you mentioned, I've always thought of human trafficking as something that happened over there, or something that happened in specific locations, not realizing that it was something that can happen anywhere. In any socioeconomic group or in any neighborhood, there have been cases of human trafficking invested at every area high school and nearly every junior high. So we know that this is an issue that is important. That it's an issue that's important to God's heart, because Jesus came to set the captives free. So we know that this is an issue that God cares about, and because of that, we care about it, and we are doing our best to prevent human trafficking from happening in the first place.
Okay, so when we shared this with the congregation, they were deeply moved. A number of people said, it's not enough for the church to do it. I also want to participate. I also want to support the ministry of the Justice Coalition. So give us just a few words of what is human trafficking and a couple examples of what you do or what your team does to stop it, or to at least slow it down.
Yeah, absolutely. So human trafficking is the exploitation of one person's vulnerabilities for another person's profit. So basically taking advantage of someone's vulnerability for your own gain. So it doesn't necessarily have to be monetary. There can be other things involved. And so we see this play out in our valley in a lot of ways that might be surprising to people. There have been cases of people who are agricultural workers who are being trafficked. People who have work in nail salons, restaurants, construction crews, magazine sales. People think of prostitution first and foremost as sex trafficking, and that is a problem, of course, in our valley. And if you read the newspaper or you watch the TV news, you know that that's a reality. But hidden behind that are a whole bunch of jobs and vocations where people are vulnerable to being trafficked. And so one of the things that my organization does, thanks to the support of people, one, we are not government funded. So we are funded by private individuals. And then some business charities like the Insurance Institute Charitable Foundation have helped us out as well. But what we do is we are able to be very quick on our feet, and we can respond to problems. Just this past month, a local church created a whole bunch of emergency backpacks for us. And emergency backpacks are to help someone when they've been rescued from a trafficking situation, because they're often just out the door with the clothes on their back. And then we were actually able to give those backpacks. We keep some of them ourselves in case we encounter a situation where someone's in need, but we also give them to other federally funded partners because it's very difficult for them to go to Walmart and get socks and underwear and all the hygiene products and the stuff and then assemble it into a backpack and have it ready because they're waiting for funding to be unlocked and there's a lot of bureaucracy there. So because we're privately funded, we're able to do that. I have 2 team members, Arian and Marissa, who are currently working on a project that we call minor pre-victim trafficking case management. And so they are partnering directly with Department of Social Services, with Probation Department out at Juvenile Justice, with other partners in the city, Breaking the Chains, Central Valley Against Human Trafficking, and we're providing case management and advocacy for young, so far all young girls, but it can be for young boys as well, minors who have an especially high risk of exploitation. Maybe it's even happened, but it hasn't been reported yet. It's not documented. And we're able to along with our goal of preventing human trafficking from happening in the first place, we're able to provide these kind of direct services.
So it's not just recovery and damage control, it's preventing.
Right,
as well.
right. It's like you hear this in medicine and in other fields like nutrition. You hear that an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. The amount of resources that it takes to help someone bounce back from that, and we are involved in that, but we don't. I come from a long family line of pastors, and it would be crazy for me to try to open a residential facility for people because it's just not in my skill set. So what is in my skill set is to we joke that some people know how to do, some people know how to talk. I know how to talk side of things, and so we from the beginning of the Justice Coalition, we've tried to look at where are gaps, where are spaces that exist in the community of people who want to take a stand against trafficking and slavery. Where are some empty gaps, and that's how we came upon prevention, and that's how we came upon education. And it was through prayer and it's through seeking God, and so God hasn't let us down yet, and we've been able to continue to grow and see our influence expand.
Okay, so we've just begun the process of joining you, and it's great that you're doing.
We're so thankful for that.
So,
thank you.
As our giving increases to 1,000, 5,000, 10,000, what would those who are giving?
What would they be investing in?
What would be the return, so to speak, on that?
Right. So we crunched the numbers a while back. We have classes, and we've just been able to start doing these again in group homes, in schools, after school programs, youth groups, and others. We estimated that it cost right around $1,000 for us to do a class for a 6-week, not a number class, which is one of the classes that we offer for about 20 to 30 students. And so
$1,000 for 30 students
for 6 weeks. Yeah.
To figure out that, did you say the title is not
a number? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's actually a holistic curriculum that was developed by partners of ours. They're based out of Houston. Love 146 is the name of the organization. But it's a class that I have personally taught at Central High. To their leadership group. I've taught it at Fort Miller to their Men's Alliance, which is like a homeroom class for extra at-risk youth, and then also at Fowler High School is another place that I've done this class. And so when people give about $1,000, that allows us to do one of those classes, all the resources and the materials, and then the time of the person. So it is essential that we have a ton of volunteers, and we have part-time staff, but it really is essential. I liken us to teachers. So I figure I get paid about what a high school teacher gets paid, and that's what we need, in order for us to do our work. We need to be able to specialize in this, and we need to be able to get out there. So we make no bones about it. Investing in us is also investing in our educators, like Krista Weens, who writes original curriculum for us, and who is constantly revising it, constantly updating it. We're trying to use all the data and all the science that we can in creating these curriculums and these materials.
Okay, so you've been here 6 years?
Yeah,
5?
6 years. Mm-hmm.
6 years. So you started in 15, 2025. What would your vision? What I'm not going to call it dream because you're actually doing it.
Right.
So
right.
What is your vision?
I appreciate that question.
For 2025, what will it look like?
Yeah, so one of the things that happened several years ago was that the state of California passed legislation that every youth in school needed to get anti-trafficking education. Unfortunately, we did not have the clout at that time to be involved in that, and they created a curriculum that really hasn't served the purpose at this point. And so I would like to see us get more recognition, not for the sake of, hey, we're so great, but so that we can have more influence in Sacramento. We're not going to pay a lobbying firm to represent us in Sacramento, but if we're on, if the representatives, the people that are in the state senate and the state assembly, if they're aware of us and aware of the work that we're doing, then we can do more that way. And I would like to see our curriculum make its way, the curriculum that we're creating, make its way into all of the school districts in California. It's a pretty bold vision, but it's something that I believe is attainable and achievable.
Okay, so you're a faith-based organization. You know God's heart for the most vulnerable, and yet you can create a curriculum that can be universal in our state.
Yeah, God has given us a lot of favor. I think it comes from being a missionary kid myself and being third culture. I'm third culture even by ethnicity. My mom is half Korean. And she was born in Busan, South Korea, but then adopted by chicken farming Swedish American parents in Lebanon, Oregon, which is the tiniest place. There's like one hotel. It's an hour and a half from Portland, but it's out in the middle of nowhere. And so I think I've grown up my whole life being comfortable. I lived in Indonesia and Russia with my parents who were missionaries. And so I think I'm comfortable being in different environments and interacting with different people. So we talk about this all the time. We're committed to sharing with people why we do what we do, which is Jesus. If you go to our website, there's no bait and switch. It's not just like, oh, this is a regular nonprofit. Oh wait, they're Christian. No, it's very clear that we're Christian. But at the same time, we're not. We believe we believe that we're ambassadors of the gospel in every environment that we're in. And so we don't have to create a curriculum that says Jesus Christ is Lord on the front of it for it to be something that God's using to bring about his kingdom. And so I am amazed at the open doors and the opportunities that we've had, including some really exciting ones that I can't even share about yet that are coming up, but where we've been invited into some of these halls of power, some of these not back rooms, but some of these committees and things where things happen legislatively that really affect a lot of people. And so I thank God that we've been given that opportunity and welcomed into we've done classes with every major school district in our area here in the Central Valley.
That's great. Well, keep it up. For us, we're just stepping into it, and I do hope that our giving can increase over time, and for our people to know that they're a part of stopping one of the worst possible things in our society, in our world, and we're not just sitting on the sidelines. And so we get some of our people to take some of your classes.
Absolutely. You can go to our website, www.justicecode.org, and we have a number of classes. There's several ones that are free and on demand that you could take that someone could take right now this afternoon after seeing this video.
Just online.
Yeah, okay. Just online. Yeah. So we were in a fortunate position to we had only counted all these numbers we've been tracking, and all this data is all for in-person stuff. But when COVID-19 hit and we were in shutdown like everybody else, we had already been developing and working on our online classes, and we actually have a class that's accredited by Fresno Pacific University that you can take for continuing education units as well if someone's in a professional field where they need that. So let me just also say it's just tremendously encouraging to me just to find out that you were supporting us, and then that Paul invited me, and I was actually at another church, at a Korean church that same day when you showed the video, but it sounds like people's hearts were touched, and then for us to just discover right in the middle of all the fundraising that we're doing here in the fall that you're doing this dinner for us, that it's tremendous. It's a tremendous blessing. And when I first started doing this work, it was very hard to get churches to give out of their general fund. Yep. And I was just going through the checks the other day and realizing how many different churches have come on with monthly support. And that's really the backbone of our organization. Our average donor is probably about $50 a month. And so we are diversified over a large number of people, predominantly people of Christian faith, who care about this and see God's kingdom, not the coming kingdom of God, not being a place where people are being exploited for their labor or for their sex, or taken advantage of because of where they came from, or who they are.
And people can give online, QR code.
Yep.
That's all.
Yeah, everything
available?
is set up. Yeah,
Okay.
everything is set up for people to be able to give online. And one thing, they can also donate through social media platforms too. That's actually a speedy way,
Okay.
and often a fee-free way to give through our Instagram fundraiser or through Facebook as well.
So what's your Instagram handle?
Instagram handle is instagram.com/justicecoalition.
Okay.
Yeah, and then our Facebook is facebook.com/justiceco.org is that one.
All right. Great. Thanks,
Thank
man.
you so much. Really
Great.
appreciate it. Hi, my name is Ryan Townsend. I'm the Executive Director of the Justice Coalition, and I just want to invite you to support us and eat delicious food at the same time through the annual Emergence Lunch through First Armenian Presbyterian Church.
It is next Wednesday, November 10th, from 11 to 2. We need to have pre-orders because it's drive-through only, but please join us next Wednesday, but make your order now.